the hard, right?
Yeah.
In order for you to really appreciate the power of the good.
Yeah.
You just do. And when you go through that hard, I mean it's hard, but it starts to make you start to see all the good. You start getting appreciation for that beautiful flower that you wouldn't have fucking noticed a million times. All of a sudden it's like, what is that? Right? Or you get like a hummingbird come right up in front of your face and it's like, hi,
You're
I'm
killing me
here.
right now, Taco, because I literally just posted about this, so I have proof, right?
Ah.
But my friend Joe, when the first time I saw him after a while, he was struggling with drugs. And this is my like bestie from when I was 12. But he's always in and out. But the first thing I saw, he brought me sunflowers.
Yep.
And then when he passed, a hummingbird literally came up,
Yep.
took some cherry out of my, or took a
Yep.
suckle out of my cherry, and then went and booped me in my belly button.
Yep. Yep. I'm telling you, if people would slow down, they would understand that really what the miracles that are happening every day,
There are
the
so many.
signs that our guides are giving us every day. But because we're in such a hurry, we don't pay attention. And so when you're getting your ass kicked and you're like, fuck, and it takes you to your knees, you finally have to slow down. And all of a sudden, you start seeing shit way clearer. You start realizing the beauty in the planet and you realize the signs you're getting, and it gives you it's like a storm that all of a sudden clears out, and you start
Yeah.
smelling the rain and you start seeing the beauty in everything.
That is
It
one
you
thing that, as I was like going over some of these questions, I wanted to ask you, and I already kind of know my own answer of how you've helped me as a mentor, is how to slow down so that we can hear and see and receive
know
the
the best
messages.
thing that people can do right now,
Yeah.
because we're in the thick of the shit. There's not a person on this planet that isn't going through a massive ass kicking. Not a person on it.
Right.
And we're all there. It don't matter how spiritually evolved you are. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in God or anything at all. You're getting your ass kicked. And it is to help raise this frequency and help people come together. We have been so divided that we are letting everything rot and destroy around us. If we do not come together, this planet will not make it. It doesn't have a life source, too. And we've forgotten how to make relationships. I mean, like friendships that last forever. We have forgotten how to love people in spite of their flaws. So,
Yeah.
the best thing that we can do, if you want to do one thing that will change your world from black and white to motherfucking color,
What?
when you wake up, before you even allow yourself to get out of bed, feel the emotion of excitement. It'll get your mind where your fucking feet are. That's where you need to be. You don't need to be 10 steps ahead of you, 10 days ahead of you, 10 years ahead of you. You need to be in the now, because that's where the opportunities are. That's where the clarity is. It's not clear out there. There's a lot of decisions to be made. That's why that's not clear. But when you're in the moment and you see those paths, you it's going to feel like you cannot make a wrong decision. And when you're vibrating that, people have to come up. Energy's got to be energy no matter how you look at it. So
Yeah.
people either have to join your party, or
Right.
you can let them suck you down to theirs.
Mm.
And again, when you start that day, just that simple thing doesn't take you more than 2.5 seconds. Be excited you got up and got to pee, right? You start your day off with that, it brings so much life into the day. It totally raises your frequency to where you're in that higher spiritual frequency,
Yeah.
so that you get to see it and feel it and smell it and taste it. So everything feels so much more real.
Gosh, I just moved in two roommates and they're just so fun. Like one's my best friend and the other girl we just happen to be like her aunt or her older sister or something. But like to have this feminine energy and to have somebody come in and decorate my house and candles and flowers everywhere and We
Well,
get up
because you went through such a clearing, right? So you just went through and just got rid of everything. So what people have to understand, a lot of things that we do in the physical is because we're working on ourselves internal. So when we go into our clearing out phase, normally we like destroy our houses, clear everything out, throw shit away.
yeah,
Because we're like nesting, right? We're like getting it all cleared out so that we can
yeah,
have this new life come in. And people don't realize that. They're just like going, I just have this craving to get rid of shit, right? But it's because you're actually working internally getting rid of shit.
oh
And
yeah,
so you had all this clearing out. So now what you're doing, because you're in that higher frequency, you're allowing yourself to bring in the new.
yeah,
And you're like, hey, this person's got this for me. I love that. It fits my vibration.
yeah,
This person's bringing this in because you don't have enough of you. You're still in healing mode. So you don't have enough of you to bring that to yourself, but it's being
right,
brought to you. That's how the other side works. It is not that they just like, you got your angels and like, here you go. No, they work through other people, which is why it's so stupid for us not to be connected with other people. This is how they work.
yeah. That was the biggest gift. I went through a divorce, and that's actually how I met you, is I ended up in Megan Kingston's basement for a couple years.
Isn't
But
she
we ended
amazing?
up being best friends and we wiped so well together, and she really truly taught me what sisterhood was. And man, like not to go there, but um, like those angels are we lost her last year and it was
Yeah.
like that was something that like took me a minute to get through,
Oh yeah.
you know. So
Yeah, that was a
how
hard
does
one.
that how do you handle that as a medium and a psychic when you're so I know you've been working with that family for so long and
Megan and I had many conversations, and I knew that she was playing around with the idea
Mhm.
of doing that. And her and I had a conversation, several, and I told her, I say, listen, Megan, I said, I know everything feels really heavy right now. Because when you're in the situation, it doesn't matter how smart you are, how evolved you are, how spiritually like connected you are. You're blindfolded. We're here to learn. If you knew it all, you wouldn't learn. Right? This is again, I say it all the time. We're not designed to do life alone because you've got to have your people say, oh, no, that ain't good. You need to get out of that because you're not going to know. You're too in the thick of it. You're blindfolded. So I told her, I said, listen, Megan, if you go there, you have to promise me you'll call me first. And then if you still want to do it, I'll help you. I'll do it for you. But you got to call me. It was a very hard thing because I was up camping when that happened and I had no service. And when I was coming down off the mountain, of course, my phone was going off with everybody like telling me. But when I was up camping, I had this really interesting experience. And I've had this a few times. People that I'm close to that pass that I wasn't aware were passing, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I don't sit there and tune into everybody. That's psychic
sure, how
spying.
could
You're not
you?
allowed to do
Yeah,
that.
how can you?
And but I was fishing and I remember it was that the night before. And I remember she was on my mind. So I thought, I'm going to call that little shit when I get home and I'm going to see what the hell's going on. And I really think she was trying to reach out and let me know. And that was a rough one, but it was interesting because I think because I've always been this way, um, when I lose people, it's not as hard for me just because they will come visit me. They do come and say hi. The one that was the hardest for me was my sister that I lost. Um, there was a lot in there. She was like my biggest pain in my ass, my best friend, my mom, and like my bestie,
I
right?
lost my sister
And
too,
she
Chocolate.
struggled with addiction problems. And uh long story short, her and I lived together for quite a long time. She helped me raise my daughter and all the kids she brought home that needed parents. And she was like famous for bringing kids home that needed a parent, right? And so she uh, had gotten back in the drugs once they were old enough and she wasn't needed. And that's where a lot of people that struggle with substance use disorder and things like that is because I really think it's because they're so intuitive. They feel everybody's shit and they just don't have good coping skills. And when you're taught that you can't be that way, because we're literally taught that from the day we come out of our mama's vagina, you're going, why am I feeling everybody's shit? I don't blame people for wanting to numb that. It's a rough go,
Yeah.
especially when you feel like that makes you even more the odd duck out.
I've been struggling with
And I say
alcohol
it all the time,
forever. Yeah.
people, if you meet
Uh,
someone that has struggled with addiction and they've gotten themselves out of it, they are the most amazing goddamn people you will ever meet. They will go the distance. And that was like my sister. Like, if you need anything, if she had to steal it or not, she'd get it for you. Like, you couldn't ask for anybody better. Like, if you needed it, she got it, right?
right.
I've never met someone that struggles with addictions that weren't that way. Never. They are the most beautiful souls you'll ever meet. It's just unfortunate they just don't have good coping skills. And if they would learn to just embrace that versus try and numb it, could you imagine how cool this world would be? Dear baby
Why
Jesus.
I'm doing this for sensitive people to feel like, I mean, there is a smaller percentage of us that feel things so deeply, and
So deeply.
what's going on, it's like crippling.
How
I
could
can't
it not
even
be?
leave
I
my
mean,
house.
even when I go through a heavy space, it feels like I cannot breathe,
Uh-huh.
literally.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine if I didn't know what I know and I was told I couldn't be who I am, I could not imagine knowing and feeling and seeing everything I know, feel, and see, and not know what the fuck that was about. Like, I feel like I need to go to the loony bin.
And scientifically, though, like authenticity is the highest vibration, even over
Absolutely.
love.
Absolutely.
And that's why I was so excited to have you on this.
However, love is the most powerful energy we got.
Oh,
You can heal the unhealable with love.
mhm.
The sad part is because this is a lower vibration planet, it doesn't allow the kind of love that we receive on the other side. So when I died and had my death experience, it was the coolest thing because I am not kidding you. Like, you know how you're told, like, God loves you in spite of like the love. You have no clue, like no clue. I was all of a sudden like in these clouds and I'm walking towards this thing, and it wasn't, I wonder if it's God. You fucking knew. Like, there was no question. You fucking knew. Right. And he was as bright as the sun, but he had like prism like colors coming out. And it was so amazing because it like didn't hurt your eyes or anything. And you're just like drawn to it. And I'm like going towards him. And the love was so unconditional. I've never experienced anything like that. And I hold on to that. It almost makes me really homesick because I want that again. I mean, we don't have a clue what love is. Have a clue. But it's because we're not allowed to have that kind of love because it will make us homesick and we want to get the fuck out of here, right? So they deaden it. But this is why a good 95% of the time, when you meet your soulmate when you're younger, it won't work. It's like taking really powerful magnets trying to put them together. That energy actually pushes them apart because it's too low of a vibration. Now, what's really neat is this shift, because it's raising that vibration, is going to allow that kind of love. So when you have a soulmate love, it's a love you'll never forget. You'll never get over. It is like a drug. You never get that kind of love again. So when you meet one and you have that experience, it kind of ruins it for the rest of them because it's never quite that kind of high again,
I'm
right?
waiting for that. No.
It's amazing. And so you'll live life, you'll get with what I call an alike soul, someone that's a little bit, they're as fulfilling as a soulmate, but they're not as intense, right? Because when it's good, there ain't nothing like it. But when it's bad, there ain't nothing like it.
Okay.
And so, so when you meet an alike soul, it takes the intensity out of that a bit. But then, they'll end up either passing away or you get divorced for some reason. And then a good 80% of the time, soulmates will gravitate towards back to each other and live the rest of their life out with each other.
Hmm.
And that's why a lot of times you hear about these older people coming back together with their first love,
Huh.
right? And so it's kind of cool on that. But with this new vibration, it'll allow a soulmate love. It's a high enough frequency.
The receiving piece of it. Like I
Yes.
know for me
Yep.
after divorce, like I did not want that. Like I hate to even call it my divorce, but it was like I didn't feel worthy of him witnessing or my family this shit show that was about to happen. Like I felt like I needed to do that alone. But it was cool because he still is my ride or die, and
Well, you know what's bad about that? And this is something that I wish people would really fully comprehend. If you ask your person, that person, whether you've kept them in friend zone, but they just know you for everything you are, they just love you for everything you are, good, bad, and ugly, right? Or that person, that mate that just loves everything about you, they really are almost as in love with your flaws
yeah,
as they are with of your perfectionism. And they love you in spite of.
yeah,
And the hard part is a lot of times when you don't love you that way, you hold that against you. And so you'll never truly believe someone can love you for that, which is where we struggle.
yeah. So I think that's what you're saying is that we're gonna get to that place where we have enough self-love that we can
Yes,
have that reciprocity that we,
absolutely.
you
And that
know,
fulfillment. There's,
yeah,
again, there
yeah.
is nothing like that kind of connection. It is incredible.
Um,
And the non judgment on the other side. Like I was coming up with all the things like he should have like said I was a bad person for. Not a damn thing. He couldn't come up with one thing. I'm like, come on, you guys, like I fucked up. Like, come on. Not a damn thing. But what was so cool about that experience, one of the most amazing parts was I was proud of myself because I swore in front of him. That was like, it's like, that's,
of
I'm
course
proud
you did.
moment.
Of course
Of
you
course
did.
I did. Yeah. But he said, you've had a long journey, haven't you? And I said, absolutely I have. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I don't want to stay with you. And he goes, well, before you make that decision, can I show you something? And I'm like, sure, you know. And all of a sudden it goes dark, like the sky, like the darkest sky. And I'm watching all of these stars and they're just vibrant, like almost like when you're out in the desert, right? And they're just like so there. And I'm watching them and I'm watching all these stars they're shooting and I'm seeing people's faces connecting with them. And I'm talking, there's millions. And I could tell they were prayers for me. I heard every word people said. I seen all that. And what was interesting, because I knew exactly what everybody prayed, when they prayed, how they did, like it showed me the whole thing. And I'm watching millions. I'm like, I don't even know millions of people. And I'm watching this and I'm like, I looked at him and I said, I didn't know I was that important. He laughed at me. He was like, oh, honey, don't you understand how important you are? I'm like, I didn't know. And he says, well, I have to ask you again. What do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to stay with you, but I got to let these people down. I got to go back. I didn't know that my sister, my aunt, there was a few people that had put my name on the prayer list. I had no clue. And that's what I was seeing. That's why there were so many prayers for me.
Well, on top of all that, I know that like if I bring your name up, I can't even tell you how many people I know that you've done a reading for. That like, how long have you been doing giving readings, first of all? And
Since I was 14. So it would be 35 years now.
I mean, I'm talking tons and tons and tons of people.
It blows me
Thousands, I'm
away.
sure. I'm sure you've
It's
done thousands of readings.
oh, I have, but it just again, I've never advertised. I've never done anything like that. I've always just had pure faith that God's going to send me whoever the hell they need me. Because I'm not your typical spiritual reader. I mean, I will give it to you straight. I will be as blunt as it gets. I put it very together. I don't do the I don't fluff it up any.
No, I
I
there's
like
this is a quote
you're
from
gonna
you.
get your ass handed to you, but I do.
Yeah.
I also tell people all the time, I'm going to call you out. However, you'll never catch me judging. I think all of our shit stinks. We're all here to fuck up. Literally, that's the goal. To fuck up and learn from it. I'm not going to judge it, but I am going to help you navigate this. And sometimes people need that. And it's like I had one client, I love her to death. And she'd come up to me, and I'd done a reading for her for a few years at this point, and it was right around Christmas time. And I give her a reading, and of course, I never remember my readings, so like I couldn't tattletale on people even if I wanted to, unless like something happens that's either really funny or really strange. Then I'll remember that moment,
Uh-huh.
but I don't remember the reading. But she says, Taco. She goes, I don't know how you do it. She goes, I come in here, I get a reading from you. I feel like you rip my soul out, you shatter it, you like glue it back together, you put it back in, and somehow I walk out feeling better and more hopeful.
It's the damn truth. Like
Yeah.
this is the one thing I'm gonna just say. Like the first time I met with you was a half hour at a spirit party or a
Psychic
psychic,
party. Hmm.
yeah, a psychic party, and you're like, girlfriend, you better get started with these videos because it's gonna be like a telephone pole up your ass with no lube.
Lube. Yeah.
It was
And
like
they don't use the new ones.
terrifying.
They use the old splinters, so it really sticks
Oh,
in there.
and that's what happened. And it was like she warned me and I procrastinated. And like there's parts of me, like I was supposed to go get my crock pot from Megan 20 minutes before she went on that ride. And it's like, I was supposed to call my friend Joe the night before he, you know,
Yeah.
and there's a part of me that I'm like, I know I'm not that powerful, but maybe I am sometimes.
But
Maybe.
you are. And when you have things like that, it because you go into, oh, I should have, I could have, I would have, right? You only have those because your guides are saying, hey, listen, there's a moment that you have to respect. And this one is probably the hardest pill to swallow. You have to understand that we do have free choice and you cannot interfere with that. You can't. If you were meant to be in that situation or meant to help them navigate or get out of that situation, trust and believe you would have. You
Right.
would have been there. That wouldn't have been oh, I should have been there. I had the opportunity. No, you would. Your guides they will not let you fail. I swear to you guys, they won't let you fail. They will just make it to where it is literally impossible to make the wrong decision because they'll just break your life down until the only decision that's left is the right one.
Yeah. Okay. That does make me feel. And once I talked to my other friend who's very tapped in, and she told me the same advice. And because I let go of my attachment to that, I'm able to connect with those spirits so much quicker.
Absolutely. That's why people like I hear people go, I don't feel them, I don't see them. It's because you're so in grief
Yeah.
that you won't let your frequency rise up to connect with them and feel them. They give you signs every fucking day. Like like Megan was like in my face, like talking about, I'm like, okay, here we go. I had another friend that her brother had ended up taking his life, and he was in my face. And I mean, like it's interesting because to me it is different. It's different than having someone solid in front of you versus having someone from the other side connecting with you. But part of that's just because it's like all the things that you would think of to ask and do and say and feel when you have someone in front of you, right, solid, like you have that clarity. When you have a spirit in front of you, you're just kind of along for the ride, and you're just like, hey, listening more to them. It's almost like you're starstruck. You're like, right.
What is that like, Taco? You told me before that it's like when you do a reading for somebody, you see a movie. Like,
Yes.
can you
Yeah,
explain
so
what?
they show me when I do a reading for people that, so there's things that, and this is where people can get a little bit like disappointed in psychics and stuff, and I get it, but you have to understand there is free choice. So there's a lot of things you can change. It's a choice, right? It's like you can choose to take the scenic route to get to that lake, or you can go straight through and get to the lake quicker. Either way, you're going to get to the fucking lake, right? But you do have a choice. So when it's not part of your sole purpose, it's not part of why your ass is here, That's changeable. Then you have options, right? And so when they'll show me that, they'll show me like, you could go down this career path or this career path, which one's going to be in your highest good, well, this one's going to do this one's going to do that. It's not going to really matter because you're going to learn what you need to, because you're going to end up at the same fucking lake. Make sense?
Uh-huh.
But what is part of your soul purpose, that's not changeable. You're going to do that. And even though it seems like so outside of the scope of possibility, guarantee you'll do that. That's not changeable. So, for instance, if someone is meant to be with a specific person at a specific time, that's going to happen. But if you come down and said, hey, I just want to have a partner and I want to have this and I want to experience this, but I don't really care which soul it is, just bring me in someone that's going to be able to help me get to that destination, then you have options.
Yeah. Yeah. If it hops us out, hop back in, okay?
Okay.
At 10 minutes, but I feel like we might have more to talk about. So yeah, I've seen that. You were talking to me yesterday that I need to channel worldly messages, and I'm like, I do channel a lot, but it's like I am such a shy person. These videos are a lot easier for me because I'm talking to my friends. But that's been a huge challenge for me, like of knowing like,
Prayers. So say a prayer.
okay,
When you get up in the morning, say a prayer and just ask your guides if there is a message that I could get out that could help people make it through today, what would it be?
I can do that.
And they will bring it to you. It is so crazy. It'll be something someone says, or it'll be something someone says, and then another person says it, another person says it, another person says it. You're gonna be like, what the fuck?
No, that
Right?
does happen to me already. Like
Uh-huh.
there's
So
daily
it,
things
it
for
when
sure.
you are going on more of a worldwide thing versus a specific thing, it is a lot harder because you are hitting a majority of a group. So it's not going to be as personalized and as detailed, right? But
Yeah,
it will be just as impactful.
cool. What a fun thing. You really are inspiring so many people. And maybe we are going to be good with the time that we have left because I would love to.
I think we all really, if we all could just understand we're all going through it. I encourage people all the time. If you're at the grocery store or gas station, you see someone that's struggling, go compliment them.
Yeah.
Nice
Why is
shoes,
it
great
harder
smile, great hat.
time?
We are so in this space where we don't want to be seen that it's causing us to exist and not live. Start living, start making it a point to be seen. You want to be that brightest star in the sky that everybody wonders what the fuck it is, right? You want to be that person that people go, I want to be her when I grow up. You want to be that person, and you can be. You're the only one that stops you.
Yeah.
So get out of your own fucking way. And I know that sounds so much easier said than done, but if you can just make it your goal to give you the same kind of encouragement, love, respect, grace, and kindness as you would a fucking stranger, you're going to see a big difference in your life. Most of us can't even do that.
Yeah. It's such good advice. We're doing
But there's so much good that actually is happening. So much. And people don't see it because that's not what sells. That's not what people report on. That's not what's brought up. It's all about, who's fucking what up and who's doing what and who's doing that. There is so many souls out there that are making a huge impact, that are doing amazing things for others. Why not let that become the norm that we see? Why not let that be the thing we report on? Why
yeah.
not show that? Because there is never, and this is a hard one for people to understand, there is absolutely never a negative. A positive doesn't override. So when people go, your readings are always so positive, I'm like, no, I told you, you're going to get divorced. You're going to do through all these things. But it's because I also told you why. And
Yeah.
I told you what it's going to do for you by doing this. And so we hold on to the little scraps when our guides are like, you guys, you got a buffet. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's why we started the grief group that's every Wednesday at 6:30 on Mountain Time.
That's amazing. That
And
is
we're
such a
gonna do,
beautiful
we were
thing.
gonna do something like it might sound heavy, but actually by the time we're done with it, it's like, okay, I really
Amazing.
that.
Hmm.
And no
Yes.
more room for, and so tomorrow's about identity and self, and I'm so excited because it's like, and I pulled actually the snake card before our reading, and it's like we are going through this major transformation and to
Yeah.
really like allow space for this new creativity that the
And give yourself a lot of grace.
yeah,
A lot of grace. This is a hard, hard thing to navigate.
it is.
Really hard because we're bouncing in two different realities. This is why everybody is so tired. Like the number one thing, and I'm talking from people from the age of 12 to fucking 90.
Yeah.
Why am I so tired? Because it's like going up in altitude, right? Your body has to acclimate. We're kind of doing the same thing. Our body has
100%.
to get used to this new frequency. And so we're all just extremely like tired, right?
Real
And I mean,
quick.
like doctors have been overwhelmed. They're like, that's their number one complaint. It's because we're trying to get used to this new frequency, but
Yeah.
we're also shedding that old.
But
And the
the piece
more
is
people can
different.
understand with this new realm we're going into, you literally will create the reality you want to live in. Like you really have that power to do that. And you'll see it. So you really want to make sure that you're focusing on what you want and give no energy to the don't, because you'll create exactly what you don't want,
Yeah.
because anything you put energy into, you bring to life, good, bad, or ugly.
No more politics, you know. But one thing I want to tell you, I don't know if I ever got to tell you, but I had you give a reading to my 12-year-old son. He's 16 now.
Oh my gosh.
It
Is
was
he
the
really that
mistake
old
of
now?
it. Yeah, and I swear to God, he's my dog Tucker reincarnated. So my son's always been the kid with his head out the window, you know, like loves
No.
dogs. And we met you at a park with your dog. And the whole reading was he was worried about his dog Roxy dying. And like, you're like, no, she's got time. Like, that calmed him down so much that he was able to like enjoy his summer, his winters. Like, there was just something, and that's all you talked about were dogs. That was it. Like, and he loved
You know
it.
what? When I was 14, because I've been a cowgirl my whole life, right? When I was 14, my guides came to me and they told me, they said, this place is going to get to a point where there's no hope. And your job is to help people have hope and to hang on for even just one more day. And I told them, fuck you, I'm going to be a professional horse trainer. Like, you guys are nuts. Like, I'm out, right?
Uh-huh.
And they just laughed at me like, oh, she's so cute, kind of hold my bear, watch this shit. The
Uh-huh.
next day, and I lived in the creepy house. Like we lived behind a motorcycle gang. You had to come down a driveway, no one's seen. It was like a dirt lane, like literally creepy house. And this lady, she shows up. You actually look a lot like her. She shows up. I never met her before in my life. It was the next day. And I seen this little boy spirit on her shoulder. And I answered the door. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I heard you could talk to the dead. And I wanted to know if you could help me. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, no, not me. I mean, I was an asshole. I was a 14-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she said, I'm sorry to bug you. And she turned around and she started walking away. And that little boy said, if you do not talk to my mom today, she's going to take her life. So I'm like, fuck, you know? So I end up being a little shit and I go out to her. I'm like, I'm sorry, I lied. I can talk. And so I'm just being kind of a brat because, I'm 14. I didn't care, right? And I talked with her. And what I had found out was she had gotten pregnant at 15. Well, I should say she got pregnant at 14. She had her kid at 15. She was working two jobs. She had fallen asleep in her apartment and he got out the back sliding glass door and drowned in the pool. And she only came to me to make sure he was going to be there when she killed herself. That was the only reason she came to me. And I don't, of course, remember what we had talked about the reading because it wasn't mine to remember. But she found me 10 years later. She had three beautiful kids, this man that just loved everything about her. And she said, do you remember me? And I said, no, but I remember your little boy. And she's like, I want to thank you. And I get this all the time with people. She's like, you saved my life. She goes, all I wanted was to know my son was going to be there when I killed myself. I was ready to OD all the things. And she's like, I would have missed out on this life and I can't thank you enough. I said, no, you living thank me enough. So
Wow.
again, if your messages, no matter if you're feeling they're divinely sent or not, and you give someone that just that glimmer of hope to hang on just one more moment of one more day, you've done your job.
All right. Well, this we've got a couple seconds, and that was so perfect. I love you so
I
much.
love you too.
You're gonna
So
help
proud
a
of you,
lot of
babes.
people. Thank
You
you.
will too.
Okay, we'll chat
Have
soon.
a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.